the penetration of insurance can actually be enhanced, and the contact of the people working in the sector can be good, and people are not going to lose their claims as it has been happening before. With a few remarks, I support.
Thank you. Member for Kitui Central, Dr. Makali.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also join my colleague, Honorable Boni, in supporting this bill. And it's important that, Honorable Speaker, this bill is in the House today because you and me, you remember this was in the 12th Parliament. And you couldn't see the end of the day because the term of the 12th Parliament ended before the bill could be passed to be an act of Parliament. So how I wish that this time, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to see this bill going through. This bill is very important, Honorable Speaker, and it has remained important for many, many years. It's only that we are doing this when, according to me, it's a bit late. This should have been done many, many years ago. And why am I saying that? Honorable Speaker, insurance sector in this country is a very important sector. And it plays a very key role in assisting the country even grow economically. And when you look at this bill, it captures some very critical areas of what needs to be done for us to have an effective insurance sector in Kenya. One of the areas is the institute, where we are saying we need to be able to say who is an insurance professional, so that by the time you are called a professional, Honorable Speaker, you'll have gone through some training, you'll have made some minimum hours of training for you to qualify to be called a professional. Honorable Speaker, this is one of the sectors where we have what we call briefcase insurance brokers, agents, and all that. And as a result of having this briefcase agents and brokers, Honorable Speaker, our people have suffered. Honorable Speaker, I'm sure if I were to ask you, or one of my colleagues here, how many people you know in your village who have either been involved in a car accident or have paid money to an insurance for something, either insuring against fire, and when that act happens, Honorable Speaker, it becomes an issue to get that money back or the payment for that particular insured item, Honorable Speaker. We have so many cases in this country. And this is basically because, Honorable Speaker, people are very good when they come to sell the policy. When they come and they want to talk to you, at the time of selling the policy, they use any language you can imagine so that you buy that policy. But once it comes to pay, it comes to the time to pay, Honorable Speaker, that's where now the war starts. And by this bill, Honorable Speaker, I see a situation whereby we'll be having professionals who will now be able to Honorable Speaker, to work professionally and get claims paid on time, because that is critical. The other part, Honorable Speaker, is important is the issue of the examination, which has been administered to these professionals, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in most professions, there are minimum required hours you must cover in terms of lecture or hours, Honorable Speaker, for you to be qualified. And if you go to the ISPAC, if you go to the lawyers, if you go to the engineers, there are minimum hours. Unless you have achieved that, Honorable Speaker, you will not be able to be called a professional. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, in this country, we have seen some universities who attempted to offer engineering degrees being actually deregistered by the Association of Engineers because they were not able to meet the minimum hours. So the same way, Honorable Speaker, through this bill, we'll be able to have professionals who have gone through some minimum hours of lecturing so that they become professional. In that case, you'll be standardizing the training so that if I get trained in part of this in Nairobi, or I get trained in Mombasa, or I get trained in Kisumu, at the end of the day, I'll be called a professional because I've met the minimum. The other point which is important, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of having a data bank of who are the professionals. So that, Honorable Speaker, if you wanted to know who is a professional in this country, in the insurance sector, we can, I think through this bill, they will be able to have some place you can either by a visit or by a click of a button, be able to know who is a professional. That will help Kenyans in terms of trying to differentiate between genuine professionals and brokers, Honorable Speaker. because there's so much money in this sector that brokers are more than the professionals. I would want to see that situation reversed, Honorable Speaker, where we have more professionals than brokers. If we get to that way, Honorable Speaker, we'll be helping the country. So even as the committee looks at this bill and pushes forward, I wish, Honorable Speaker, as a House, we need really to allow time for this bill to be passed by this House so that it becomes an act of Parliament and it can really improve our insurance sector. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I also want to urge the Insurance Regulatory Authority, because we have that regulatory authority, Insurance Regulatory Authority, Honorable Speaker, in this country. We know they are doing a good job, but there's those gaps we are mentioning, Honorable Speaker, where people have been involved in accidents, they have never been compensated. People have had their houses burnt and they already insured their houses, they are never compensated. And even when you're compensated, it takes so long for you to be compensated to an extent that then it doesn't help anybody, Honorable Speaker. So how I wish that through the Regulatory Authority, Honorable Speaker, we could be able to help Kenyans get their claims paid in good time so that they don't suffer, because the reason why you insure is that you are covered, and in case of an emergency, Honorable Speaker, you can be billed out. So with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I once more want to support this bill and request the House, through the House Business Committee, to allow time for this bill so that during the 13th Parliament, this bill becomes an act of Parliament. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much.
Honorable Maingi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me a chance to support as I contribute to this very important bill. Madam Speaker, the Insurance Institute of Kenya was formed in 1948, operated as an affiliate institute of the Chartered Insurance Institute of London until 2002, when it finally got registered as a society by the Registrar of Societies in Kenya. Madam Speaker, every year we send Kenyan students take away money from this country to London to pay for their exams in the Chartered Insurance Institute of London. If we recognize the Insurance Institute as a professional body of this country, we are going to have Kenyans register for their exams here. We are going to retain our money, and we are also going to have members of other countries, our neighboring countries, register with us and bring in their money into this country. Madam Speaker, when we have a controlled insurance sector, our insurance sector employs thousands of people in this country. In fact, we have more than 13,000 insurance players in this country. If we go back to the contribution to the GDP, the 6.7 that was contributed by finance and insurance, 2.4% came from the insurance, from the insurance sector. Such a sector cannot go unchecked. If we talk of insurance penetration, there exists a direct and positive correlation between insurance penetration and economic growth. If we look at those countries that have a strong insurance penetration, they also have strong economies. If we look at South Africa, if we look at economies like the UK economy, the US economy, those economies have a very strong insurance penetration, a very high insurance penetration. That means that the uptake of insurance is up. It's more than we have in this country. And why? Just because we are not regulated and people have no confidence, our customers have no confidence in the insurance industry because of lack of regulation. If we have the Insurance Institute of Kenya as a regulatory body to regulate all the professionals, then we are going to increase the confidence level in this country, and we are going to have more partakers of insurance. Then we are going to have the insurance exams even provided by our TVETs out there, because they know that insurance, AIIK is going to be recognized, and that the insurance body is recognized, and that their exams are going to be recognized. Thus, we're not going to have people send out money going to book for their exams all the way in London with the Chartered Insurance Institute. Madam Speaker, the role of insurance cannot be underestimated. Without insurance, serves to provide a provision to provide for cash for investment through the financial markets, capital investments like the real estate, the banking sector, construction, and also to protect lives and properties of people. If we look at the bombing of places like the Westgate Mall, or even the World Trade Center, or even more recent, the attack of Parliament by outsiders, if there was no insurance, then we would not get back to operations as quickly as we would like to get back to operations. Thus, people get back to operations and people continue to work, and the economy continues to grow. The role of insurance, again, insurance helps in creating employment and making nations even more prosperous, because people are going to invest and they are going to take higher chances. They are going to risk even more, because they know in the event of anything, in the event that their businesses go under, then there comes insurance to compensate for their losses. That way, the confidence levels will go up, and people are assured that there's insurance to take care of their businesses and even their lives. So, with those few remarks, I beg to support this bill and to thank the Chairman for Finance for bringing it up for discussion. Madam Speaker, I support.
Member for Busia, Honorable Omanyo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a beautiful bill that is long overdue. Many of our people have lost their lives or have been rendered handicapped or have been mentally challenged after losing to some dubious, uncertified brokers or agents of various insurances. Some of them actually just con right away. They come with very nice language and say, if you pay this per year, in case of any emergency, you'll be taken care of. If you are sick, you don't have to worry if you have money in the pocket or not. In case of your demise, your next of kin and children, they will get all this compensation. And in case you are handicapped, you are paid per week or after every 2 weeks. So you get drawn into paying some money yearly or monthly, knowing that there is an assurance at the end of it. But as a country, we have to tie our string to the kite, where we are truly assured, where we know that insurance brokers or agents are satisfied. And in case of anything, there is an institution or a body that we go to and ask that so and so, agent number this or broker firm this came to us and we got insured by your body, and this is what has happened. And if they have a record or a data of every professional insurance person, then it will be easier to track if anything happens, if you were conned or truly you were maybe given a particular insurance, and then now they see into it what to do in case of that. But what happens today in Kenya, many of these people especially have gone into the villages, into the towns, where people like boda bodas have paid, but when they get an accident, there is no compensation. They go to court and they find out that they were played, they were conned, they have nobody to run to, no institution to run to, and report. So as a nation, we have lost a lot into the hands of some, let me use maybe a harsh word, a con man or con woman, who came in the name of an insurance firm, but did not really mean it. They just took the money. And also some of these firms, knowing that they cannot be taken anywhere, they make sure that they don't compensate. It's like they make sure that they don't pay according to how they promise. So we need, because if I went to TSC, if a teacher misbehaved, if I went to TSC, then they will know what to do to that teacher. If it's a lawyer who conned me or didn't purchase what I wanted, maybe I trusted him, gave him money. If he eats my money, I'll go to LSK, and LSK will handle him. They will punish. They'll, you know, if I go to nursing councils, they are orderly. But when it comes to insurance, which body, I'm asking, which one do I go to and say that this broker or the agent took my money and I got this accident and up to date? Because going to the courts, the long bureaucracy makes somebody just gets tired on the way and gives up. And that makes many, many people don't even trust these insurances. It has remained for only the upper class, and the upper class in Kenya are very few. Maybe 10% of the Kenyan economy goes to the right few ones that are trusted. What I want here is an institution, a body that looks like LSK, but it's an insurance body. That looks like TSC, but it's an insurance body. A body that can give certificates to all agents that represent various insurance institutions. If they come with that certificate, then we can trust and do more and save lives, or not just deposit or keep giving to a place that is like, it's going just to, like they say in Swahili, kiendacho kwa mganga hakirudi. So it's a beautiful idea, but then what exactly do we do when we feel like we have been conned? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Member for Keses, Honorable Ruto.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity you've given to me. First of all, on onset, allow me to thank my chair for Finance and National Planning Committee, Honorable Kimani Kuria, for spearheading and steering away to ensure this particular bill is here in the floor of the House today. It has taken a length of time, knowing that it has gone through a lot of rigorous process, more so stakeholder engagement, which I participated. And Madam Speaker, to say the truth, I think this is one of the sectors that has been lagging for quite some time. It is one of the sectors that has a lot of interest in it. There are many players in the chain of this particular business. Those who are coming together, organizing themselves into an association, into a company called brokers, are people who find out an opportunity in doing or in trading in insurance covers. And for any other reason, it has also established many regulatory bodies that, if you look at the objective of these particular regulatory bodies, has got no divine and definite focus on the people in it. And I want to say this, that this particular bill is coming at the right time, that the sector